Hey there, superstars. It is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer, and coach from Live, Love, Give. And I've got a really great message for you guys today. One that I was flicking through my notes section on my phone, which, as you guys know, I'm constantly writing all different ideas and concepts and notes. And I came across this one, which I'd kind of just put in my notes literally as moving away from pain versus moving towards the extraordinary. And why I wrote that in my phone and what I want to share with you guys today is I was actually having a conversation with somebody in my life, and it just gave me this realization of what I was doing. And this amazing person in my life was able to reflect something back onto me, which really helped and supported me. And I'm hoping that it's going to do the same for you guys as well, because most of the time, we're pretty damn unconscious to our patterns of behavior and our ways of thinking and believing. And, we're just kind of in it. Like Les Brown, like I was talking about yesterday, would say, when you're in the frame, it's hard to see the picture. And that's exactly what was happening for me. So this special person in my life and I are both studying NLP, and one of the things that I've spoken to you guys about is these things called meta programs and blah blah blah. I'm not going to go into the depths of that. If you want to go the depths of this sort of stuff and really see what you're being driven by in terms of your perceptual filters, definitely encourage you to jump on board with the monthly masterclasses. The link is up above for that. But anyway, what this person was able to reflect back for me was that I was getting caught up in focusing on what I didn't want rather than what I do want. And I know this sounds really basic, but sometimes we really need a reminder on this. So whatever we focus on, we get, right? So, we've at any given moment, we've got about 2 million bits of information coming at us from any which way. And what actually the human brain can only process about 5 to 7 bits of information at any given moment. So, what is that filtering process? What is determining which pieces of information get into us and which pieces of information are filtered out? And that's all basically decided by what we choose to focus on, because we can't focus on everything, right? We can focus on anything, but we can't focus on everything, right? We'd be totally overwhelmed. So what happens is, whatever we choose to be the most valuable thing is what we're going to place our attention on. So some of us are more so going to focus on what we don't want, and this is predominantly how the human brain is wired, to focus on threat, danger, all that sort of stuff, the negative aspect, the things that we want to steer clear of and avoid. But if you remember that what you focus on, you get, and you definitely experience, then we need to be consciously aware of what we're choosing to focus on. And for me, this was focusing on what I didn't want rather than what I did want. And that was the unconscious pattern that was kind of just slipping itself back into my life. And it was actually, having some negative effects. And so in my relationship with this person, they were showing me, hey, you're actually focusing on what you don't want to happen, and that's what's actually happening, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, I know this stuff. It's so funny, you just don't apply it to yourself in the same way that you can so easily see it and apply it to others around you, right? You're just stuck in your own little world. And from there, I was able to go, you know what, you're exactly right. I've been focusing on a result that I didn't want, and what's happening? I'm generating that disconnection that I'm so not wanting, right? And what I'm really wanting is an extraordinary depth of connection. And so that's what I need to focus on. And this is playing out, in every single area of your life. Like if you're going to, say, the gym or looking after your health, and your perspective is, I don't want to be fat, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle, because that's what you're kind of training your brain to focus on. It's giving it a vision. It was, I don't know if I'm going to be able to remember it, but Albert Einstein, one of his greatest quotes is that your imagination is I won't get this quite right, but it's like the the prelude to your future. It's not quite that, but that's what it really means. And I wish I could remember it. But ultimately, what that means is whatever you're imagining, you're creating. So whatever vision you're putting in your mind, you're actually moving towards that vision. You know, I've heard this said from somebody at this NLP course actually that I did a little while ago, was when you try and push things away, you're actually closer to them. You have to touch them to be able to move them away, right? So you're better off, you know, not even focusing on that thing and focusing on where you really want to get to, because wherever you focus on, that's where you're headed. So if you're focusing on, like looking after your health, going to the gym, looking like trying to eat healthy based on not wanting to be fat, you're going to move towards that being fat. You're going to be making those poor decisions. You're going to like feel de-energized. It's not very energizing and inspiring to focus on what you don't want. But if instead you transition and you focus on what you would love to create, you know, I would love to feel fit and vibrant and super healthy and just alert and alive and energized. You know, I'd love to have you know, inner strength and physical strength, or whatever you are inspired by. If you paint that picture as to what you actually want to move toward, that's going to inspire you way more, and it's going to be much less of an uphill battle, and you're going to be training your mind to focus and find ways of analyzing that, measuring that for yourself, determining what set of actions you'll need to take in order to move in that direction. And the same thing happens everywhere. If you focus on your finances and you're like, oh, I hate being in debt, I don't want to be in debt. Well, guess what? Like, you're stuck in a mentality of having debt, getting into scarcity mode, rather than what is it that you really want to create? What's extraordinary in this realm? You know, how much money do you want, and what do you want to be able to do with that? What's that going to give you in your life? You know, and focusing on what you want to move toward, rather than focusing on what you're trying to move away from, which is actually putting you closer to that end result. So anywhere in your life, I'm hoping that this kind of message is going to just wake you up and get you questioning. Like, I needed this person in my life just the other day to just go, hey, you're focusing on what you don't want, and guess what? You're moving closer to that. And what could you instead focus on? What is it that you would love to create? What is it that you really want? What inspires you? Focus on that, get clear on that, you know, and start moving in that direction, rather than wasting your time and energy, you know, focusing on what you don't want and simultaneously moving closer to it and feeling totally burnt out doing it, right? So I really want to dive in and answer any of your questions or comments, or, you know, speak any of your words of wisdom to our amazing community. I so appreciate when you guys can join me live, and when you engage, juices me, gives me so much fuel and energy. And I really want to, before I dive into those comments, I'd love to invite you over to the masterclasses for any of you guys who want to reach a new level of your potential. We focus on your body intelligence, your mental intelligence, your IQ, your intellectual intelligence, your emotional intelligence, and also your spiritual intelligence. So we cover all realms, and we go super deep, and we meet live every single month in an online training and a Q&A and kind of just a community catch up. And then, you know, we really dive deep in the best tools out there to take you to a new level and make it actionable and applicable to your life in the simplest and most systematic way possible. That's what we're doing over there. So hope to see you in there. If you want to learn more, click on the link above, and hope to see you join. And let me see, I've got Azar and Philip and Gregory and Tim and Loki. Great to see all of you guys. And Richard, what if you can't focus? Great question. So, you know, our ability to focus is really determined on different areas. So different angles, you know, you can look at it from a physiological response. So your inability to focus, maybe you just need to be getting more sleep. Maybe you need to be drinking more water. Maybe you need to be looking after your nutritional needs better. Maybe you need to be getting out and exercising. Maybe it's a physiological thing. Or maybe it is that you're unable to focus because you're trying to focus on something that you feel is expected of you or you should do, rather than a get to. What are you inspired by? You know, I've lived that life for a very long time, and I thought I couldn't focus on anything. I thought like I couldn't even be bothered like picking up this or learning this or doing this. But the fact of the matter is, I am like an A-class student now. I focus and like completely lose track of time because I'm focusing on the things that I'm truly inspired by, because I've taken the time and I've done the work to actually discover what that is, what really inspires me. And when you start to live from the inside out rather than the outside in, what you think you should be doing, then I guarantee you will absolutely up-level your ability to focus. It all comes down to values. If you're not living in your values, it's so difficult to like live in somebody else's set of values. It's like when somebody asks you to do something that you're just like, it's not your thing. A great example in my life is, like my mum is just an amazing gardener. Like she just loves gardening. She loves all things plants and gardening and all sorts of stuff. Me, on the other hand, I couldn't care less. Like I like to maybe notice like a beautiful garden or some beautiful flowers or something, but to actually go into the garden, look after the plants and do all that sort of stuff, like that is just totally not on my radar because I don't value it. So if somebody said, this week I need you to focus on being the best gardener ever, I can guarantee you I would absolutely freaking struggle, right? And there's been times where, my mum might have asked me, in the past to like, can you make sure that you water this plant, this plant, this plant, this plant? And I'd say to her, yeah, okay. And I totally forget because it's not my set of values. It's not on my radar. As opposed to when you find those things that you're totally inspired by, right? Nobody has to get you to focus. Nobody has to, get you to they don't have to wake you up in the morning and remind you to get out of bed and go do that thing. You're spontaneously inspired to focus all your energy and attention on it because it inspires you on an authentic level. This is a big part of the work that I do. And bear in mind, I've got some stuff coming out for you guys that I'm really excited about. Made some major breakthroughs in terms of how I want to be supporting you guys at a higher capacity. So I won't go into the depths of that right now, but just bear in mind it's coming up and this is a major part of it, to tap into your authentic inspiration. If you can't do that, you're wasting your life completely and you definitely ain't going to be able to focus. So I so appreciate your question, Richard, and I really hope that supported you. And Rachel's here, and Vince and Gary and Richard. Whatever your mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. That's the quote you are referring to. No, it wasn't, Richard, but I love that quote. Absolutely. No, I do have it. I wrote it down like on my notes here somewhere. But it was one that actually Les Brown talks into. You guys heard me yesterday talk about how much I'm diving into Les Brown's work. And Albert Einstein said that here it is. I wrote it on my notes. It's down here. The imagination is the preview of what's to come in your life. Thank you for that reminder and that ability to tap into that one. But yes, I love that as well. Whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Awesome, Richard. I so appreciate you sharing your words of wisdom here. And Klaus, hello, I like your hair. Oh, thank you. Feeling a bit beachy and I'm down at the beach. Thanks, Klaus. I so appreciate that, from Colombia. Awesome. And John's here as well. And William, you are the best. Oh, thank you, my friend. So are you. I love it. And Ray's here. And William, we all need to focus on where we want to be. You got it. My dad always used to say, you can do anything you put your mind to. Beautiful. Yeah, my mum used to say that to me as well when she used to drop me off at school. You remember, you can do anything that you put your mind to. Beautiful quotes from our parents. I love it. Thanks, William. And John, Des Moines, Iowa. Oh, I don't even know where that is, in the USA. Oh, I'm hopeless. All right, Vanessa. How to go from focus to taking that action. I love that, John. Another big part in the program that I'm going to be bringing out later on, but I'm not going to go into detail with that as well. Yeah, focus without action, right? Like, what is that? Well, I like to think that part of what you focus on, if you are inspired by it, if it is coming from that deeper part within you that you are really, really inspired by, it's coming from you. It's not all these shoulds and expectations from the external world that, really beating down on your self-esteem, the moment you tap into your authentic inspiration and you truly focus on it, I'm telling you, you get the energy, the fuel, and the courage to move forward in determined action. And it's those times when we're trying to focus on and commit to and do things that aren't in alignment with the truth of who we are and what really inspires us, that we just don't get into action. We get self-defeated because there's that deeper part in us that knows that we're not in alignment, that we're selling ourselves short, that we can't trust ourselves because we're not listening to ourselves. We're overvaluing the voices in the external world and undervaluing the internal voice that's telling us what we want to do. And sometimes that is the very thing that gets us not taking action. But a big part of that action, if you believe that you can achieve it, like very similar to the quote that Richard just shared before, if you believe that you can achieve what you're trying to focus on and create in your life, I guarantee you'll get into action. If you are not getting into action, if you are procrastinating, if you're not moving the needle forward, you've got to look at your relationship with yourself, and you've got to look at whether you believe what you believe is possible for yourself. Do you feel like you are deserving of the kind of result you're trying to create? There's so many different angles on this, but those are the key areas that I look at. Are you authentically inspired? Is this coming from within, or is it coming from external shoulds or expectations? Number one reason why you're not going to move forward and take committed action. And number two, whether you believe you can actually achieve it or not. Like, if you don't actually believe that you can achieve what you're trying to take action towards, why would you even get started? And then thirdly, I'm just going to throw in another option here. We always, as human beings, are operating in alignment with what we perceive will bring more benefits than drawbacks. So if you're not taking that action, it means that on a subconscious level that you can bring some conscious awareness to, you're actually believing and perceiving that there are more drawbacks than benefits in you taking that action. And there's more benefits than drawbacks in not taking the action, right? So a key way that Dr. John Demartini would help somebody in this realm would be to go, all right, I want you to list out, like, if that's what you wanted to take, that determined action, right? Then what is it that, what are all your perceived drawbacks about taking that action? And then he would get you to list them out till you had no more, and then what he would get you to do is come up with at least 50 more, like, benefits of you taking that action, or even just like outweighing that. Say you got 20 reasons why you really, like, there's more whatever the drawbacks are, you need to get 40, like double it. You need to get 40 benefits for you taking that action. And once you make that shift within, I guarantee you'll align with that action moving forward. That's what we're doing as human beings. We can simplify it. We take the actions that we perceive will give us more benefits than drawbacks in doing, and we don't take the actions in which we feel that they're going to have more drawbacks than benefits. Simple as that. Just think about it that way. Really hope that helped, John. So appreciate you being here and asking your questions. I so appreciate it. And Tara's here, and AJ and Yvonne and John. Focus on the activities or the big goals. Yeah, so, like when we talk about focus, I think you brought that up. So, I would say that you really want to have the bigger vision, but people work differently with this. So a big part of the work that I do in NLP is there is one of these meta programs. Oh gosh, I hope you guys join the masterclasses so that when I have these conversations with you guys, you absolutely know the meta programs, you know what I'm talking into. It's super, super valuable. But what I would say is one of the meta programs is whether we are more global or whether we're more detailed. Now, what does that mean? Because either or, they're both valuable. They're both good. We want to have flexibility. But what global means is these people want that bigger picture. They need to know where they're going before they get into the detail and focus step by step. Whereas other people actually want the detail. They really need the detail before they can get to see that global picture. Now, I'm somebody who is absolutely global. If I don't have the bigger picture, if I can't see where this is going and see that it's really in alignment with what I want and the results that I want to create in my life, I'm not going to be inspired to focus and take action in that. It's got no meaning to me, right? But you might be on the other side of that coin. You might need to focus on all the little activities to get you to that bigger goal, and that's what maybe moves you forward more. I actually have a way of moving towards goals called the Ultimate Achievement Blueprint. I think I've done a Facebook Live probably over a year ago for this one now. If you guys want me to link you to it, I definitely will. But with the Ultimate Achievement Blueprint, we identify what is that bigger goal that you want, by when do you want it. Then you have to get into all the whys, right? Who is it? Nietzsche, who said, oh God, I've lost that quote as well. I'm not doing too well with these quotes today. But you know, when you know your why, you can withstand any how, right? And most people, we get a goal and we're like, okay, how am I going to make this happen? And we actually haven't done the work to go, why do I really want this? Get that inspiration. What's it going to cost me if I don't create this inspired goal in my life? You know, who do I need to become to generate a new result? Because who you are right now has generated the kind of results that you've got right now. So if you want a different result, you got to, you know, tap into a new version of yourself, an updated version of yourself. So identifying who is that kind of person who can generate the result that you're after. And then you get to the how-tos in the very final stage. So, I also did a masterclass on this one for you guys in the new year. So anybody who wants access to a full-blown training that dives deep into the Ultimate Achievement Blueprint, I guarantee you it'll be of value to you, and we go really deep and granular in that, and yeah, it'll help you. So, but that's in the masterclasses. If you join, you get access to all the previous masterclasses, whole library full of tons of value for all of you guys who want to reach a new level of your potential. So I hope that helped, John. And Yvonne, Les is great. Absolutely. Natural is beautiful, shows your true authentic self. Love it, Yvonne. Yeah. I'm not quite sure what you're saying, but I'm all about authentic selves, so I love it. And Sparky, hello to you, and Lisa, great to see you, and Loki. I've just started implementing the most ambitious 6-month plan of my life so far. Oh, I love that. I'm 1 week in, and as the reality sets in and the obstacles and challenges appear, I have to remind myself to just keep moving forward and do the best I can one day at a time. If I focus on my shortcomings and failures, it's not going to bring me any closer to my positive vision. Loki, I absolutely love this. You are such an inspiration. I love how much you're an action taker and you're so committed to your success, and you're absolutely focusing on what you really want to generate, rather than, you know, so many of us getting caught up in the poor me victim story and just like feeling like, oh, I've got all this stuff I don't want in my life, and they, you know, get caught up in that, and what do they keep creating? That, right? So I love that, Loki. Thanks for being such a brilliant example, and I'm sending you all my positive energy and appreciation and gratitude for showing up and always sharing your journey. I love it. Thanks, Loki. And Yvonne, yes, absolutely. We love our John DeMartini. And John, I'm loving that this is perfect advice for you. So grateful to hear that. And Richard, I'm on fire. Yeah, I do get very passionate about this topic. You got it. Anything that comes out in terms of, you know, getting into alignment and getting out of your own way, you know, that's what life is about. You know, the biggest fear I could conjure up, I feel, is getting to the end of my life and feeling as though I was living in that number one regret of the dying. I wish I had have had the courage to live a life true to myself rather than one I felt was expected of me. That's why I'm always, you know, all the work that I do with you guys, and when I get super passionate, it's always about helping you to identify who is the authentic you. You know, what are your gifts? What is your unique greatness, right? And getting to unleash that out into the world. Discover it, develop it, deliver it. That's what it's all about, you know, so that we can get to the end of our lives feeling so super proud of ourselves that we can honestly and authentically say we absolutely gave life our all in all realms. We didn't hold back in our love, in our life, in our ability to contribute, in our ability to be all of who we are and shine bright despite the naysayers and despite the people who want to bring you down because your light's scaring them, right? As Lisa Nichols says, you know, shine bright, you know, and give those other people who can't handle your brightness, give them some shades, right? So I love that. And so appreciate you being here, Richard. Thanks for your contributions today. And Samar, Seema is here, and Judy and Yvonne. When do you want it and why? When you know the why, the how's what will work. Ask what it would cost me if I don't become that. Yep. And if you want a different result, you need to be a different person. Absolutely. Oh, your hair looks beautiful, natural. Thank you. It's actually been in plaits. So thank you, Yvonne. I so appreciate that. That's very kind of you. And who is your authentic you? Discover it and deliver it. I love that, Yvonne. I love that we're on the same page with everything there. And I'm so in appreciation and gratitude for every single one of you guys who could join me live, or maybe you're watching the recording. I absolutely value your time and your energy to come and watch these videos. I would so appreciate if you share anything that you come across on my page that is of value and you feel it could support or help anybody. I would absolutely value if you shared that with them. And yeah, with that, as always, guys, I'm sending you guys all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I really do hope that it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary, that you're doing something super empowering, and today's message has definitely served you. And just to remind you, to focus on what you want to move toward rather than what you're trying to move away from. All right, because you get what you focus on. It's as simple as that. And I really hope today's message has served you. Please reach out if there's any other way that I could be best supporting you. If you have any tips or any advice for me, I'd love to hear your feedback. Absolutely. I rely on you guys to help me keep my finger on the button of what inspires you most. So always value you reaching out. So much love for each and every one of you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.